Hi, welcome to the Watercolor Stories podcast. We are here this morning with Joe Aragona, and I am so excited for you to meet him and to have a conversation with him to learn more about his journey to coming to Westport, to living in the watercolor community. And I'm sure you're going to enjoy hearing every detail of some new initiatives too, and some new possibilities that have come into his life as a result of living here. So welcome, Joe. I'm really so glad you're here. It's really a delight. Here. Thank you. I would love for the people that are watching to learn a little bit about you. How did you come to Westport? What do you do in the marketplace? Tell me a little bit about yourself.
We came to Westport, my wife and I, 3.5 years ago. We had gotten to the point where our children had grown up and they'd moved out of the house, and we needed to downsize from our home in Ottawa, and we were looking around for something that would fit our idea of what the next stage of our life should be. My wife found an ad in the paper for the watercolor community, and she said, let's go see what's going on there. When we came out to the community, we thought it was exactly what we were looking for. It also helped that we had been making regular day trips to Westport on weekends. So we knew where Westport was, we knew what it was all about, and we were really in love with the little village. And when we saw the subdivision and what the potential for it could be, then we thought, well, this might be the right spot for us.
That's really neat. You know, because I help with the marketing, I'm in the background and I create these ideas and stories, and part of the vision of Stephen Rolston, the founder and of Watercolor and the owner of Landark Homes, is that sense of placemaking and community. Right. And it's exciting to hear that you have found that. How has it been for you? I think first I want to talk about right sizing, because you did say you had to move from a bigger home. Right. How did that go?
It was an experience. Trying to figure out what you don't need is the biggest part of it. We had a home that was fairly large for 4 people, and you're moving down to a home that's a lot smaller. So you've got to figure out which of these rooms and the furniture in these rooms don't we need, and right. What do we really need? So the toughest part was figuring that out. But once we figured that part of it out, it was pretty straightforward in terms of setting up our new home and making it work for our new lifestyle. Yeah. It was an experience, but I'm actually glad we did it, because I realize now that a lot of the stuff that was there we no longer needed, and as we were doing it, I was finding things that I thought, well, this has been in storage for a while. If it's in storage, that means I don't need it, so let's get rid of it.
Right. I know Stephen regularly gives out a book called The More of Less, and we talk about how you can live actually a more enriching life with less stuff.
Yes.
Have you found that to be true for yourself in every aspect? I mean, because it is a smaller footprint home, but there is the freedom that comes with that, I think. Yeah,
there's a little bit of freedom. It's funny because you seem to fill the home you're in, the space you're in. So if you have a larger space, you tend to fill it because you're looking at empty areas. But we found that this is the home we're in now is the right size for us. Just 2 people, and it works perfectly for what we're doing. I also work from home. My wife works from home as well. Okay. So the thing that we were looking for was enough space for 2 separate offices. Okay. So that worked out quite well for us. So it ended up being the right move, and I'm very happy we're here.
Oh, that's really exciting. Yeah. Do you find that working from Westport and working remotely has served your business well? Are you able to interact with your clients and do what you do as effectively here as you could anywhere else?
Yes, for the simple reason that when we came out to look at the community and the homes, my first question was, is there high-speed internet? And technology has gotten to the point where you can work from almost anywhere as long as you have a connection that is fast enough to do what technology allows you to do now, video conferences, multiple people on the same call without having to be in the same city. Right. So that was my first question that I asked, and when I found that out, then to me the rest of it was just putting the pieces in place. And the type of work that we do, we don't necessarily always have to be meeting with clients or meeting in person. Okay. And I also found that the work world has changed. Yes. Coming out of COVID, everybody got into the mode of not having to meet in person or having to be in a physical office. So there's a lot more acceptance of that now. Most of the time now I'm on a call with, 4 or 5 different people. They're in different cities across the country. Some may actually be in another country, but they're all working from home. I don't remember over the past year anybody that I've actually seen on a call, video call, that is sitting in an office somewhere. So it's become acceptable, and the type of work that we do, sort of lends itself to that anyway.
That's really great.
Yeah.
That's really great. And have you decked out your home office the way you want it now?
Yes. Yeah, it's exactly the way I want it.
That's wonderful.
And there's all kinds of technology in the room, and,
right.
and sometimes the technology doesn't work exactly the way it's supposed to, so you spend time fixing that. But I've got my wraparound desk with my multiple monitors, and I've got internet coming in, got servers in the room. Everything's good to go. That's
great.
Yeah.
Well, I do know a little bit about some of your hobbies, so there's no doubt that there's a picture of a fancy car somewhere in there too.
Yeah, several cars.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. The cars is something that I've been in for a long time. So it's it's on the walls.
On the walls.
Yeah.
Yeah, so as you found a place here to live and to thrive and to contribute, I do want to talk a little bit about a new venture that you've brought to the village, the Westport Car Show.
Yeah.
Last year was the inaugural year. It was fantastic. I came. The weather was beautiful, but more beautiful were all of the amazing cars that were being displayed and the people we got to interact with. What was the impetus behind doing something like that? I mean, starting a car show and then it being such a wonderful success with thousands of people coming.
So I'd always been involved in the car culture, in the car community. We lived in Ottawa for a long time, and in Ottawa I was always part of the Ottawa Antique Automobile Association. Went to a lot of their shows, got involved in some of the organization. When we came to Westport, the idea for the car show actually came from the community. There had been, in talking to other car guys, I discovered that there had been a car show in Westport for a long time, and it was being held at the Methodist Church on Bedford Street. And for one reason or another, the folks that were running that show decided they weren't going to run it again, and it sort of lapsed for a little while, and then COVID hit and it totally disappeared. So the car community was saying it'd be nice if we had a car show again. So that sort of stuck in my head, and I thought, well, I can take that on. So I took it on, and it took a little while to get all the details put together. But over the course of about a year, I figured out all the things that needed to be figured out. Got some folks in the community involved, and we ended up with our first show in 2024. And the second show is going to be in 2025, same weekend, third weekend in July 19th, that Saturday. We'll try it all again.
Yeah, I think your reception from the community was really enthusiasm, a lot of enthusiasm.
We got a lot of positive feedback.
Yeah.
We had upwards of 250 cars, which for a first show is pretty good. One of the things that a lot of people commented on was that we actually located it right in the center of the village. So it's at the park, with the community arena. So that tended to actually impress all the car guys, because they're used to going outside of an area and being on grass somewhere, and they don't have access to a community. But they really appreciated that they were in the middle of the community and they were able to walk, leave their car for a half an hour, go for a walk, check out the harbor, visit the shops. And a lot of them come with their significant other. So if the drivers don't want to walk anywhere, then the significant others can go and enjoy the village while the drivers are showing off their cars. So it worked out quite well, and we got a lot of very good feedback about that.
Yeah. Well, I think that, again, it's fulfilling a vision that we have for growing new possibilities in the village or reviving old ones, which is really exciting. What has been kind of some of the positives that you've experienced in terms of your quality of life moving to Westport and living in this walkable community? That's another major focus of living in Watercolor, is that you do have that walkable access to all of your daily needs and the amenities of the village. Can you tell us a little bit about your personal experience with that?
Yeah, the fact is the village has everything you really need on a day-to-day basis, and it's surprising that how you find the things that you don't really miss. But the village, you've got everything in terms of services. You've got a grocery store, you've got a pharmacy, you've got several restaurants. Everything is pretty well there. For us, what was really important was the proximity to the water. So one of the things that we did when we were downsizing, we sold our cottage in Quebec. And so one of the things we were looking for was proximity to water. Now, it didn't necessarily have to be living right on the water, but we wanted to be able to walk to the water. And one of the things that we like a lot is that, you have your dinner and then you go for a walk and you sit at the harbor for a little while, enjoy the sunsets and just enjoy the evening air. So that's worked out quite well for us. The other thing that we really like is, because I'm a car guy, I like driving around. So,
yes.
I've got a couple of convertibles that when the sun is nice and shiny, we take the cars out and we like driving around, and there's a wealth of scenery to see and explore, and wonderful roads to drive. So that's been a lot of what we like to do.
Wow, that sounds really idyllic. I can just imagine going down to the harbor at night with my spouse and sitting by the water watching the sunset. How fun. Would you think that your transition in terms of anything else has had any kind of hiccups that you would just say, hey, you know what, if you're thinking about making this move, here's something you should think about? Because sometimes those insider kind of experience things are really helpful.
I think the only thing that we hadn't considered is the back and forth. Our children one lives in Ottawa, the other one lives in Lanark. So one thing we hadn't considered was the back and forth that would be involved in that. But we've sort of settled into a routine with both kids, and they visit regularly, and we visit them regularly, so it works out. But that's really the only drawback was that when we did it, we didn't think, well, we will have to go back and forth to Ottawa because that's where they're living.
Yes.
But it's worked out quite well. So it's not really a negative. It's just more of an adjustment than a negative.
Sure. And I'm sure, have they adjusted to the idea that your home is the hub and the destination home to be in?
Well, yeah, my daughter especially, she likes coming to visit because then she can go and visit the village as well.
Exactly.
So she can visit the harbor and she can go to all the shops. So she really enjoys that part of it.
Yeah, you're a VRBO without having to be a rental. She doesn't have to pay to be there.
Yeah.
That's awesome. What about things like just the practical needs of your business? Do you find anything like as a red flag for anybody setting up shop here in Westport? You've said the high-speed internet is great. Have you had clients come and see you here?
No, and that's not because they don't want to make the trip, because whenever I say I live in Westport, all of them know where it is.
Oh, that's great.
So they're all saying that they do come for weekend day trips. Yeah. But really, with technology, nobody's visiting anyone as part of work.
Sure.
As I said earlier.
Yeah.
But we are at the point where the technology makes it easier to be connected through high-speed internet with video conferencing and all that. But clients have not come here for work. But I have hosted clients for lunches, breakfasts, and an occasional dinner. So,
wonderful.
Yeah, that's worked out quite well.
Yeah. Again, you're the destination home.
Exactly.
And home and office, which is great. So, what is it about this place, the area that surrounds you, that gives you that sense of calm and tranquility?
I think it's primarily the fact that we're living in cottage country. It is, you don't have to go too far to hit a park, go for a hike, visit a lake, nice. Or spend time on a shore. Even if you want to leave the village and not enjoy just the harbor, and you want to enjoy everything else around it, the whole village is sort of a gateway to all kinds of different experiences that you can have in the great outdoors. And there's nothing more calming for me just to leave the house and drive away and not think about anything and sit somewhere and just look at the scenery. One of the other things that I do is one of my hobbies is photography. So I enjoy getting in the car and just losing myself in the area and exploring things. There's two parts to that. One is just exploration and the relaxation of exploring things that you haven't seen before. But then there's also, you pick up the camera and you're taking photos of that stuff. So it's actually more relaxing, and you lose yourself in that, and it's very calming, and it's a nice way to just forget about everything and recenter yourself on what's important.
It sounds lovely. Wow. And the scenery that surrounds you, I'm sure, has produced some lovely photography.
Yeah, I checked the other night, and I've got 2,000 photos I haven't processed yet. So
wow.
So I have to get to that. That's another thing that I have to get to. But it's funny because you go out and you end up, oh, that's a great shot, and then they sort of add up and they build up in the server, and now
You've got a library.
I have to do something with them.
That's exciting.
Yeah.
I know we were talking earlier about that you wintered in Westport.
Yes.
And a lot of people that talk to us wonder about that. Maybe you can share some of your experiences of how winter in Westport has unfolded for you.
It's interesting that we're only about an hour from Ottawa.
Right.
40 minutes north of Kingston, but it seems that we're in a different weather pattern in Westport. So I didn't find this winter or the past 2 winters as bad as winters in Ottawa. It's 2 days ago we had a little bit of sunshine in the morning, and then we had snow in the afternoon. But in Ottawa they had a snowstorm, so it's not as bad as I'm used to seeing. It actually reminds me a lot of winters in Toronto. Winters in downtown Toronto were extremely mild,
right?
Not like winters in Sudbury, but in Westport it's pretty much the same thing. You get the occasional snowstorm that dumps a lot of snow, but within a couple of days you're back to sunshine and normal weather, so you don't have to really get too worried about that type of weather.
Were you able to stay connected to community? I mean, oftentimes people feel that sense of isolation in the winter. Was that a different experience living in Westport for you?
It was for me. One of the things that we looked for when we were moving was a smaller community that we could get involved in.
Okay.
So I've managed to get involved in several community activities, volunteer activities. Great. And that sense of community, there is a lot of volunteer work that goes on in the village. There's only 630 people that live here. Last census, it might be a little bit more now, but the community gets really involved, and there's all kinds of groups that get together and do things for the community. There's also a very active social life in the community. One of the places in town, the Cove Inn, they have music every night, but they're also the central point for fundraising activities that community groups put on. So over the winter we went to a costume party, we went to a mystery night, we went to several things that, those kinds of things happen, and it's really up to you as to how much you want to get involved. We wanted to get involved, so we are involved. So it wasn't very isolating to go through the winter not being able to be outside. It's sitting at the harbor watching the sunset, but you're enjoying other things in the village, so it's a nice balance.
Oh, that's really good to hear. I think people sometimes overestimate too what they do in the winter, and we just tend to be a culture that likes to stay indoors and do other things, so it might be a good time to edit those pictures and get caught up on other things, but it's nice to hear that there's that vibrancy all year round, because we see a pattern of people maybe wanting to push back against just the need to travel, the need for that busyness, and feeling a sense of wanting to stay connected though. So community groups are a big part of the village life. Have you done anything in the volunteer area that you have found just a real sense of fulfillment from too? Because there's just that joy that comes with giving, right? And giving back.
One of the things I'm involved with is the Westport Tourism Group. So this is a group that has gotten together to try and elevate the profile of Westport as a tourism destination for folks that live within a 3-hour radius, 4-hour driving radius. So that's been very fulfilling for me because there's a group of 5 people that are really focused on it.
Okay.
It also fits nicely into what I do for a living. So part of what I do for a living is marketing. So that's something that I can contribute to the community and contribute to the group. And it's been very fulfilling watching the whole thing evolve over the course of about a year and a half to the point where we're starting to execute on certain things that we said it would be nice if we could do that, and now we're starting to put things in place. One of them being trail walking. Westport is a sort of a gateway to all kinds of trails in the area. The Rideau Trail Association, the Cataraqui Trail, and the Kingston to Ottawa Trail is part of what we are in the middle of. You can walk almost anywhere from Westport.
Amazing.
And it's an amazing network of trails that are available. So the Westport Tourism Group has been involved in sort of heightening that, and we've got a program in place that we're trying to bring to the whole tourism sector to sort of promote that gateway experience.
Okay.
And that's been very fulfilling to see that come together.
Yeah, I know that there was a new trailhead that
That's right.
even Landmark was part of,
Yes.
sponsoring a small part of that and bringing that to life. When will that open, and what can be accessed from that?
So that trailhead is actually now open, and it's accessible right now. There's on May 17th. There's going to be an event at the trailhead. Currently the Rideau Trail Association is doing a Kingston to Ottawa walk, and the portion of the walk that goes from Westport to Narrows Lock will be kicked off on the 17th at the trailhead. So the morning of the 17th, the Westport Tourism Group is going to be there to send off the walkers and give them a coffee and a refreshment and say thanks for coming to Westport.
Wonderful. Wow, that's inspiring again. So I just want to thank you for joining us today. I know you took time out of your busy day to be with us and to share your story, but I know it's going to have an impact on anyone who watches and listens, and for your neighbors to get to know you a little better too.
Well, I'm glad that I was able to do this with you, and thank you for inviting me.
Thank you. Thank you for joining us today for the Watercolor Westport Stories podcast. We hope you've been inspired. You can like, follow, share our podcast with others through YouTube and Facebook, and connect with us through our website at watercolorwestport.com.